Hello, welcome back to Jurassic Unicast. I'm James, and I have got Mike, Matt, and Chris with me today. No Steve, he's actually fell ill, annoyingly, at the worst possible time ever, just as we're doing the trailer breakdown. Hope everyone's well in the chat and post live stream or whatever you're doing when you're watching this. If you're new, click the old thumbs up, give us a bit of help. How we doing, boys, after the next day, the day after the day before?
I'm very well.
Better than Steve, apparently.
Better than Steve.
Not better than Steve. Bless him.
So let's quickly let's go round the room. Like, when did you watch it, Mike? What did you watch it on first release, or do you have to wait a little bit?
I watched it around about, I think it was about an hour after it had dropped on YouTube. I was a bit gutted, actually, that you wouldn't let me in for the chat yesterday, actually, because I was literally sat there, just eagerly, right, I'm going to let me in, I'm going to talk, and then you just rolled over. It's like, right, sod you lot. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's like, I'm relieved it's not another rinse and repeat of Jurassic World. However, there are things in the trailer that has me slightly concerned, and then some things that the fan base got me concerned about as well.
Yep, Matt.
I watched it within about 5 to 10 minutes of it dropping. Notifications on X, Twitter, dropped, so I watched it relatively fast. After the first viewing, I didn't quite know how I felt about it. I was excited, scared, things I liked, things I didn't like. I think it was a whole mixture of emotions, really. But I've watched it way more times than I care to admit. And it's grown on me a lot more. There's still a few things that concerns me, but I'm sure in the next hour and a half, we'll get into all those things and we'll discuss them.
Absolutely. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty much the same as Matt. We tend to agree on a lot of things when it comes to like opinions and stuff like that. But yeah, like I watched it literally 30 seconds. When I clicked on it, I had no views. And when I clicked off it, I think it had 2,000 something. But yeah, like I said again, we'll get into it all. There's a few things I didn't like. Overall, pretty enjoyed the trailer. Few concerns for the movie.
Yeah. I think in terms of opinion, I think we all kind of align, don't we? Which we'll probably find as we go through this breakdown. We obviously, you saw, if you didn't watch our reaction, me and Steve watched it live last night at 8 o'clock, which was great fun. So check out that video, which is our previous upload. Yeah, so as you can imagine, we had to stay off social media all day, so it's quite difficult. Right, so trailer breakdown. I've made a few notes. Like me and Matt have been talking all day about this, actually, to be fair. Yeah, Steve, I'm going to sort of kind of tell his thoughts, what he's kind of gone over a little bit as we go along. Couple of people in the chat. Hello, welcome. Got 11 people now. I hope that's 11 thumbs up for people watching. Unreleased question, but the Rancor looking monster was what rubbed me up the wrong way. We'll get into that later. Robbo, hello Robbo. He says Rebirth's trailer unintentionally has retconned Lost World, Jake and Dominion. It's retconned core stories of those movies. The lore is now broken. I'm super excited for Rebirth, but it's a broken lore. I mean, based on what you've probably just seen, maybe it might look that way, but I would sit tight on judge it after we've seen the film, because there's a lot of exposition we have not seen yet.
Not to mention we've got Pep back involved with the script, which means he's going to be more faithful to those films, or at least The Lost World anyway, than he is.
Well, you'd like to think so.
Tavaro or anyone like that. So yeah, we'll see.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm not going to play the trailer, but what I am going to do is we're going to go over images as we go past. So the trailer opens up with this sort of iconic, sort of piano-themed Jurassic. Who's scratching their mic? I can hear someone scratching.
I can hear clicking, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, what is that click? I don't know. Hold on. Can't hear it anymore. Oh, I can. Hold on. Who is that? Might be Matt.
Matty.
I'm
Yeah,
not
so
moving.
no, I can hear clicking. It's annoying. It was putting me off. I can still hear it now, actually. So we start off with this iconic picture of the T-Rex. It looks like a bit of a montage to the original movie, right?
Yeah, but it's not Rexy like some people have been reporting.
How do you
No
know it's
way.
not Rexy?
Well, for one, it looks exactly like a fossil. If that was Rexy, it'd be bone. It wouldn't be fossil.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can colour it, can't they?
They can, but I don't know whether they go to the effort. If that was Rexy, I don't know whether they do that. Like
Yeah,
for me, it just doesn't make sense. I'd like it to be Rexy. That I wouldn't bother with that.
Yeah.
But do you remember that article that came out probably 2, maybe 3 months ago now? And they said that Henry Loomis, his museum exhibit, the dinosaurs he had on display were specifically in-gen cloned dinosaurs. So these dinosaurs were actually dinosaurs that were brought back, were whether on Nublar or Sorna. So that tells me that is a very good possibility that it could be Rexy. And I think it's almost too purposely done that the pose is like that iconic roar at the end of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, now that you've said that, I kind of agree with that actually. I mean, I've not seen the article, so yeah, it does.
I wouldn't be like overly surprised. I just don't think it is. Like just from the look of the bones, and I know they can stain them, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is. But I don't think it is personally.
So just that this is obviously set 5 years after Dominion as well, and if she had passed away, which is easily enough because she was so old anyway, like. I think it would explain it a little bit more. Obviously, it's a movie as well, so you got to sort of suspend just obviously reality and that sort of stuff. But
it wouldn't bother me if it is. If it is, you know what I mean. It wouldn't do anything to the movie for it. But
I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking at images that we're not seeing full dialogue, we're not seeing script content. So you know, we're walking into this like. We all know exactly what's going to happen. And like you say, it could be that this is Rex's skeleton and they've stained it. It could be that it's a fossil that's of a similar animal. But you know, they were digging up a T-Rex skeleton in the last film. So this could be that same skeleton. We don't know. But
it would have been nice to have like a little plaque saying Rexy. Then we would have knew.
At the end of the day, we don't know yet, do we? Like we're all just like assuming this could be it. Like I mean. It'd be a great way to sort of show her off, I think, because of the.
It'd be a nice way to do it.
Yeah,
we haven't seen what actually happened to her. There's, you know, so I think it could be her. And like, I mean, it makes sense just because when dinosaurs ruled the Earth banner, it'd be poetic, wouldn't it? You know.
How do you feel about them if this is the case and this is Rex's skeleton? How do you feel about them killing her off screen? Would you rather have seen that on screen?
I'd rather have seen that in Dominion personally.
I mean, I don't care about her being dead off screen.
No.
At all. Like, I mean,
doesn't bother me.
No, not at all. I think the fact that we didn't see her sort of die of her injuries in a heroic way, kind of annoyed me. So the fact that she's died off screen would be, well, if she is, doesn't bother me at all.
But just to touch upon what Mike actually said, we know that there's meant to be a connection in this film between Henry Loomis and Alan Grant, isn't there? Like whether it's a big connection or it could be just something very small and subtle. But going back to what Mike said, if this is the actual skeleton that Alan Grant was digging up in Dominion, maybe he donated it to his exhibit, and that's where that connection may well be. But I am leaning more towards that. It probably is Rexy. I mean, if it is, I don't think I'd be too bothered. You know, it'd be sad.
I never actually thought of that connection. Like that you said about maybe it is Grant who's been donating or in buying skeletons and stuff from him. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah. Because there's meant to be a connection. I'm just putting like 2 and 2 together. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Probably am, but it would sort of make sense.
So moving on, sorry, we're gonna so this get our first bit of dialogue about from Scarlett here, sort of saying, let's have a look. So he's gone to, what's the name of the actor that takes Scarlett to?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Is it Friend? Something Friend.
Rupert Friend.
Yeah. Is that him?
Yeah.
So his character's kind of like a Eli Mills type person, isn't he? I'm wondering. Now, I've only got this idea from listening to so many, watching so many different people's opinions already on this trailer, that I think it was Jurassic. I think Matt might know this because I think he might have listened to the same podcast earlier.
Yeah.
He had this. Now, later on in the movie, in the screens, we come across some like laboratory stuff. I'm wondering if he isn't the friendly guy that he's making himself out to be, and there's a more of a undermining sort of. He's got an ulterior motive in this whole mission, and we'll get to that later. So the movie moves on into this whole long grass sea that I feel like we've seen for months and months and months. It's good to finally see what happens after, right?
Yeah, I was curious about what tail that was going to be.
I thought when that teaser came out, it was telling me Momentia, but I forgot about the Titanosaur.
And you know what's funny about the colour scheme for the Titanosaur in this as well? So, you know how Gareth Edwards is a massive Godzilla fan?
Yeah.
So, in the Showa era, so we're talking like the very first era of the Godzilla Suitmation franchise,
I know what
there is a creature in there called Titanosaur. And if you look at the colour scheme between that version and this version, they're more or less identical. So I think that might be a little nod to that.
Possibly. I like it. I think it's great.
Do you know what though? Right, when you look at it though, like when I first looked at it before I knew it was a Titanosaur initially, apart from size, it's basically a massive Amargasaurus.
Yeah,
it kind of does look a little bit like an Amargasaurus, but it's based on this like where it is right here. It's hard to sort of gauge actually the size. Is that over there a Stegosaurus, or is that just a tree?
No, I don't think it's a tree. It could be a rock. But...
Parasaur?
No,
if you look further up, like if you look at above that there, where your mouse is there, there's some white rocks there as well.
Possibly. You might be right.
Yeah, it might be rocks.
Rocks.
So that you can't really gauge the actual scale of this.
Well, think about it this way, right? Scarlett Johansson is literally sticking her head above the top of that grass line, yeah?
Yeah.
So if that's where its ankle is sitting at that same level, then that should give you a rough idea.
Oh, so yes, you could literally walk right underneath here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think Scarlett's probably about what, 5'5" or something, 5'6"?
Yeah, she could literally walk here, right underneath that grass. That's crazy, actually. That's a better sort of look at the scale, isn't it? You can use the grass as a. I really like them. I actually really like the design, and the striping's quite subtle as well.
I feel everything's striped in this movie so far, though.
I
feel everything's striped in this movie so far.
I think
the lovely designs.
I mean, the only thing I've got a problem with is that in 30, how many years has it been since in the lore of this Jurassic? 34? I don't know. I can't remember.
30 something. I forgot what it is now.
Like, has Titanosaur ever even been mentioned? No, it's just so randomly sort of shoved in as a new species. Like, I almost wished they had genetically modified Dreadnoughtus or Brachys. So even a Brachy with these little things on the back, just something to make them look like.
So we know where the mutation's taking place.
Yeah, these weren't the Brachiosauruses we want.
Yeah.
But I actually really do like the design. I think the shot is beautiful as well. It's such a cinematic sort of the coloration. I think the color palette on this movie is really, really nice.
What they've done with the color grading on this is way different to what they've done in the other Jurassic World. The other Jurassic Worlds were so blue, whereas this is a lot more. It's a lot warmer temperature.
Yeah. This feels
Orange
like
and
it's
red, isn't it?
going back to Jurassic Park with the color scheme to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, we move on to. We see a lovely little shot of what I'm assuming is the new Quetzal animal.
Oh,
You made me laugh yesterday when you did the reaction, and you're like, "What's that other bird? What's that other one?" And then someone said Hapsogopteryx, so you two try to pronounce it. Let's just call it a Hapsy.
Hapsy.
I was actually watching it. I'm like, I know what they're going to want to say, and they're not going to be able to say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus. So
classic.
I'm assuming this is that.
Yeah.
Now, when we have a good look at that animal later,
Mhm.
I have since seen some toy releases,
Mhm.
and it's down as a Quetzal, which
Okay.
Seriously.
which actually kind of bugged me, because if it was that other animal, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe they're a more aggressive species, and they went against putting them in the parks, you know. But yeah, that's interesting. So that's a great shot, great cinematic shot. It's quite eerie, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. I'll tell you what that shot kind of reminds me of, and it's the same with the Titanosaur shot as well. It kind of reminds me of a cross between Peter Jackson's King Kong and Kong Skull Island. It has that. The things closer to the screen are darker, and everything further back just gets shrouded in mist, and it just fades out.
Yeah, I think this is very Peter Jackson's Kong. Anyway, I'm getting a vibe from this. Okay, so I'm going to play this bit. I'm hoping there's a bit of dialogue here. I can't quite remember. I wonder if this is a little animal foreshadow here. Whether that's actually a Titanosaur in that as a skeleton.
It makes sense.
Don't think it's big enough.
Okay, so that bit of dialogue there is where Scarlett was saying she's going to keep him safe. Let's read that again.
Keep it more or less safe. More or less?
Yeah.
Well,
It made me laugh, actually, because the one thing I actually noticed, I don't know why, I wonder why they made him do an American accent. Like, it doesn't need to be, does he? I just find that really strange. Why?
No.
Why?
no.
I mean, you could argue that with the sake of Hugh Laurie doing Gregory House in the House series. He's got an American accent in that, yet he's a British actor, and we all know what he sounds like as a British actor. So there could be any reason for it. It's just one of those things. He's got the face, but we need the American accent for ratings or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
Not just that. British actors, they tend to stand out quite bad. I mean, if you think about Dominion, was it Dodgson's right hand man, if you want to call him that? He was he was Australian actually, wasn't he?
No, you're talking about that little dweeby dude, weren't you?
Yeah, was he British or was
Oh no, sorry, you're right. I know what you mean. No, he was Australian. Do you know what I was thinking of then?
Yeah.
You know the guy, Toby something, that does Dobby's voice.
Yeah.
Where are the dinosaurs?
But he was British, but there was a lot of British actors in Fallen Kingdom as well, and they do stand out, don't they? And it's like, that's why.
I just don't understand why they have to do it. Like, when they're not, why can't they just be a British person? Anyway, great shot of the logo. Do you like this one? I think it's great.
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, I think it's quite nice actually. Yeah, I like that.
Nice change.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so
Love this.
Another beautiful shot.
Yeah,
definitely I'm getting proper Thailand vibes. I've had the luxury of going there.
Yes.
And it's so like that as well. It's not even lying. I know some of this is probably CG laid as well, but it honestly is like that in some places.
Yeah.
So we get our first time we get to meet. So she's given a bit of backstory to his character. Is it Duncan?
Kincaid,
yeah, Duncan. So he is one of her right-hand men, and so where is this taking place? This little bit here, though.
So that's
What's
in,
the what's the
I think
island?
that's in that like little marina area,
That little bar, isn't it? Or
like where that plane's just landed. Because
Yeah.
that's a megalodon
Is that a
jaw in
skull?
the background.
Yeah.
Just go back. Is that
Yeah,
that's megalodon jaw?
Yeah, it's a
isn't it?
megalodon. It's a
megalodon.
megalodon jaw.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, then. So
And
they're
that's one of the
popping that
questions.
out.
That was one of my questions from the trailers. Where's that come from?
Yeah. Bloody hell.
The Meg.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jason Statham's going to come out now.
Yeah.
It's the megalodon.
It's a Meg. It's another Meg. Right. So I like the use of this technology that they used. It reminds me of the similar technology that they've got in Fallen Kingdom with the
Mills.
Nublar map.
Yeah.
So when we get introduced to this guy, is he everything you thought he was going to be based on the trailer?
I think he's going to be my favorite character.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
He just seems so real and grounded. Like he doesn't like he's all effortless. His character, if that makes any sense, like he just seems like he just plays it too well. Like that's probably how he is in real life. Just cool, calm, and sort of just like laid back.
He's a good actor anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, I've honestly never seen him in anything because I don't really watch a lot of movies that. I don't like new stuff. I'm very boring. Like, I'll only stick to what I know. But so this is obviously going to be my first time ever seeing him. But from what I've seen in the trailer, I think he's going to be my favorite actor in this film.
It kind of reminds me of a personality that I've seen in the films before. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. I want to say it's like a fun version of Robert Muldoon, but I don't think it is. I think it's like a different film franchise altogether. But I do feel like this is going to be a strong character for the group.
But didn't Gareth Edwards describe him as he's going to be the heartbeat of the movie? Like his character is going to be like the heartbeat of the movie. So
I think he's going to have a similar character type in a way to what was his name? Oh my god! In Jurassic World, all my sides, Barry.
Oh, Barry, yes.
Yeah. While he's not going to be the same character, I think he's going to have the same humor and stuff like that I think he brought to Jurassic World.
Yeah,
that's who I'm thinking of, Barry. Yes, I agree with you.
So moving on, let's just hear a bit of the dialogue and talk about some of the points he's talking about here.
You know we can't hear that dialogue, right?
Oh, you can't hear that?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I thought that was the point.
No, I didn't know you couldn't hear that. Sorry.
No,
boys.
I thought you was just telling us what they're saying.
Oh, that's a bit stupid. Sorry.
I mean, luckily I've seen the trailer, so I kind of know what they're saying. But...
Yeah. So they're saying we're going to go towards Barbados, where there's like border patrol, but there's not that many anymore. And then they were like, "Why is that?" He said, "Because no one's stupid enough to go there."
Which I find that hard to believe.
Go on.
I mean, after JP3, where you had randos doing aerial flights around Sora,
not too close. You don't want to be eaten.
It's like, no one's going to go there anymore. I don't think so. I think there's still like idiots out there that are more than happy to take a cruise over there just to have a selfie.
Yeah, I think it's sort of ties into what James was saying about Martin. Is it Martin Krebs, the character played by Rupert Friend? Like that, he's not all that he seems, because he seems very eager to get to the island. Because he says, whilst they're in the museum bit, he says, "Can't you ready to leave tomorrow?" Basically. And I think, because obviously we'll discuss it in a bit more detail in a minute, but also we know that when they go to the abandoned lab, the dialogue over the trailer is that these were animals that were built for the original park, but obviously too dangerous. How would they know that? I reckon he knows that. But do you know what I actually think? I think he's there specifically for this mutant, and that's what worries me about the film. I think he knows there's a mutant sort of genetic clone that's gone awry, and he's there to either capture it, kill it, collect DNA from it, something like that. But that's what worries me, because that tells me that this mutant will be the focal point of the movie, and I don't want it to be whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop sharing that screen because I want to bring something else in.
Yep.
Right, let me just stop sharing that a second, because based on that footage, I don't know whether I can get both of these screens up. That's the problem I've got here right now. Window, here we go. Right, so this is something that James Ronan brought up on the earlier on. Is this collection of islands here
what we're seeing in the trailer?
What we're seeing in that trailer footage just then? Because this
it's a possibility.
This is Sanctuary Island, and is all this area here where those Titanosaur things are?
Where the grasslands are, yeah.
But
it looks a similar topology. I mean, those islands in particular, you could easily kind of like assume those would be quite jagged and erect in the way that they're formed.
It would fit, and it would work. But part of me would prefer it to be that, because that's one of my biggest issues with this kind of movie so far is that oh no, we need another island with dinosaurs in it. Oh, hold on, we found one. It's just like there needs to be some sort of reason. Like, I know it doesn't necessarily have to retcon what was said in terms of Site being the breeding area, because if Hammond only actually said they bred the animals there and then moved them over. That doesn't mean that they couldn't have had a research lab on a different island, so I'm game with that.
Yeah.
No,
He
absolutely
did say that site was the factory floor, though, didn't he? But
but that could just be the breeding area and not necessarily the research area. If they're researching all these different areas, like, and different dinosaurs, like, they're probably not going to do that on Sauna in case anything was to happen. So I can get that, but I kind of do. I would like them to go down this route of it being Sanctuary, because it ties in with Fallen Kingdom, and it's not just another island that they've put out and gone, oh, here's another island.
See, I would prefer that this was one of the 5 deaths, only because if this was the sort of the original place to clone dinosaurs, stuff like that, they would have wanted to take them over to Jurassic Park, which is Nublar. If it's one of the 5 deaths, it's a lot closer and easier to get there. Now, if this is somewhere, obviously, like near Barbados, where they're saying it is in the film, it's so far away that transporting the animals from there to Nublar, or even there to Sorna, then to Nublar, it would have been just a lot more difficult. It wouldn't make sense. We know it's not one of the 5 deaths, which to be honest, it sucks, because I think they've really missed an opportunity there.
Absolutely. You know what? I don't even get me started on this. I am livid over that. Matt, you've got silent, mate.
Who I have?
I know you are.
No, you haven't.
That's fine. Sorry.
Like, we know that InGen owns the 5 deaths, so we'd have to be very naive to believe that there isn't dinosaurs on all 5 islands. So there would be laboratories on all 5 islands doing the same thing and stuff like that. But unless something plausible is explained in the film, then it's up to us to sort of just have our own headcanon and believe what you want to believe, sort of thing. But I prefer it when things are sort of ironed out, fleshed out, and explained in the movies, because that way there's no argument.
Did they ever explain exactly where Sanctuary is in terms of
they never
location to?
No,
it was all John Hammond's dream.
So we don't even know if this is anywhere near the 5 deaths, or
well, we don't even know if this island actually exists. That's the other thing. With
Fallen
Kingdom, it's like it just shows them a model and says we're going to take them to this island. It doesn't say where. It doesn't say what the place is called. It just says we're going to take them here. For all we know, he's just paid a model maker to fabricate this thing just so he can build up a lie about what they're going to do with the dinosaurs, which ultimately is what exactly they did anyway. So, who's to say that this island even exists?
What could seem pretty invested, but it's how much has Mills sold him on this idea.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it would make sense that this island is going to be like a part of the 5 deaths, a site C of some kind. And like you said, Chris, it's like the Site B was the factory floor, but they don't always, in any kind of factory type facility, they don't always have research and development in the same area. They'll have it either off site or in a completely different country altogether. So yeah, the Site B being the factory floor, it's where they bred the dinosaurs to go to Jurassic Park, but that's not necessarily the be all and end all of where the research would have been done.
Thing is, also, it would make sense, like, if this was one of the 5 deaths, like Matanceros, Murta, those sort of islands, it would make more sense to have dinosaurs on all those islands with multiple species, because say Jurassic Park opened, right? Dinosaurs would inevitably die, whether it's through old age, disease. A number of things can happen. It's going to be a lot more cost effective to go to an island to collect. So say your T-Rex dies, right? You've got a breed, you've got a clone one, rear it, it grows. It's going to take I know they've got accelerated growth, but it's going to take a long time. Now, if a T-Rex dies, Hammond could be like, right, we just go to Sauna, pick up another one, dor it, trank it, bring it back. And it'd be cheaper in the long run. And you've got dinosaurs there ready-made to come straight into the park. That's why I think it would make more sense that this was one of the 5 deaths, because then you can explain why the animals are there anyway, whether it's mutated or not, like the experiments. But like I said to James today, I think if this isn't one of the 5 deaths, which we're pretty sure it's not, I think they've missed a massive opportunity, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just think, like, you know, we were teased it in the Lost World, and it's just, I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't have done it. It wouldn't retcon anything, because like, we've never been there in the movie universe. We've only heard about it from Nick Van Owen, and we've seen footage from it from the trailer. So we just know that they're there. We know that they own the 5 islands, and that's it. So it for me, it's one of them moments. Like, literally makes me smack my palm on my hand on my head, because it just, there's no reason, like, I mean, zero, why they shouldn't have done one of the 5 Death Islands.
Yeah,
like, no.
Makes perfect sense.
I don't get it. Like,
do you know the other thing that
if
makes
we're going to
me
go to an island anyway, what's the point in going to another island?
What makes me think that it's definitely not one of the 5 deaths is the look of the island. When you look at, like, what we've seen of Nublar and Sauna, they're all filmed in Hawaii and have a very, very different look to what this is filmed in Thailand. Like, it looks like a totally different island with a totally different ecosystem. So for me, I don't think it's anywhere out near it.
To be fair, though, we've had with the Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 that are meant to be on the same island. One's a jungle, one's a redwoods.
I was just going to say that. It's like, if you compare the Isa Sauna to Site C, I'd agree with that argument. But when you've got Site B as like 2 different ecosystems with the bloody redwoods and tropics, it's like, you can't work that in this universe.
That's just bad filmmaking, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Absolutely.
Prehistoric Horror says, hi, what's your thoughts on the D-Rex mutant dinosaur and Rebirth? I think it looks cool. And then someone said, Unreleased said, I think it looks like something from 65. That's actually a good shout. We'll get onto the designs when we see it. We'll talk about it in the time. But at the moment, we're going to go through it, like, kind of like chronologically towards the trailer sort of thing. So let's get off this image, and I'm going to go back to the one that we were on the trailer, which is not that. That is not what I was on. Where is the trailer gone? There we go. Right. There we go. Back. Can you see what I mean by those islands now, though?
Yeah.
It kind of just it looks very similar, doesn't it? So this is obviously the family cruise. I'm wondering if, well, one thing I liked about The Lost World is I think the writing at the start of the movie, the exposition was really good. Like, it was almost too good, to the point where it was basically filling in all the gaps. Some people might say, okay, there's a little bit too much exposition there. Like, all right, you've got a bit overkill, John Hammond. But it actually does set the next part of the movie up quite well, because you're thinking, okay, that's why we're going to another island. Okay, that's why Jeff Goldblum has got to go back, because he's got to go and get Sarah. Like, it does set the tone of where we're going and why we're going, you know?
Yeah. And,
like, I'm hoping that we get a little bit of that in this. I don't want us to sort of just, okay, this is another island, and just have to accept it. That's all. I do want a little bit of explanation.
Yeah.
So we've got the family going along. They come across the island, and then it jumps to a scene inside a lab.
Yeah. Now that's
Okay.
I think that shot early with the two-headed raptor in the jar, I think that's part of a flashback because that looks far too new compared to the other bile that he's looking at where it looks quite decrepit.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
I mean, I think all of this is modern. This is where I was going to talk about later. Now we've got to the part of the trailer I'm talking about. So I'm wondering if there are two labs, and this is a modern pop-up type lab that's been used more recently, and they're kind of, and the dialogue, notice that the dialogue is over the top. So listen to it again, right? So there's no actual talking during that bit, it's all over the top dialogue. I forgot you can't hear it, can't you? I keep forgetting you can't hear it. Hold on. Why do I keep doing that? That's funny. It says share tab audio. Why can't I share tab audio? Share audio, share tab on screen instead. Okay. There we go. Right. Okay. That's better. You'll be able to hear now. So in this scene here, it says,
this island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
So it says the research facility for the original Jurassic Park, but it's. I'm sorry, but that doesn't look like it's from the 90s to me.
No.
It'd
be earlier, really. It'd be the 80s, really.
80s even more so. I'm wondering whether the reason why we've not seen Scarlett Johansson saying that in person is because I think it could be kind of just to throw us off on the trailer. And this could be another experiment and something else that's going on, which could be the sinister project that they're talking about that's been hidden for decades. And this is it. It's a more modern take on this island, and that Rupert Friend guy is there to do something in this lab, and he's just never had an excuse to get there until this point. So he's got these. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's got all these people there on the island to almost assure his safety a little bit more because he can't get there any other way. And that would make more sense. I mean, I could be completely wrong, and they could, and this is meant to be in the 90s, but it doesn't look like that to me. It looks too. No. It looked like, especially that look how shiny.
Like that first image there, you could probably get away with that being like late 80s, 90s, something like that, with that little raptor in. That is polished. That is like
absolutely,
it's like new age.
What concerns me, what James just said, I mean, if he is right, and it's a good possibility, if he has gone back to that island, like the first chance he's got to do something or to get something from that lab, is obviously going to be the mutant. And what concerns me more than anything is that if that is the case, and there will be future films after this one, which, let's be honest, inevitably there will be, are we going to see more mutant things? I don't want it. It's just, I can just see it now, and that's what's like. We don't want it, or most of us don't want it anyway. But
how many years have we been saying that we don't want it to go in this direction where we don't mind hybrids for the most part because we've had enough of them, but now it is actually getting into the mutant section.
I'm still part of the very small minority where I still, to this day, don't believe that we ever needed hybrids.
No.
We didn't need the Indominus Rex. We didn't need the Indoraptor. There's so many I know it's so boring because I repeat myself time and time again, so I apologize. But there are so many species that we could have used and been utilized in real paleontology. So why do we go down this fake bullshit? Excuse my language, kids, but route. We don't need it. There's so much cool stuff out there to use to bring into films. We don't need this made up crap. It's not.
You're literally echoing what I was going to say when we kind of got to the monster. It's the fact that there is so many other dinos that we haven't seen that are like awesome, mean dinosaurs that you could use as a baddie, and we're relying on.
But why do we need a baddie? Why does there have to be a villain dinosaur? Since Jurassic Park 3, even though I don't necessarily class the Spinosaurus as a villain, it was obviously the big bad dinosaur in that particular film. But why does every Jurassic film have to have a quote bad dino? Like, just let them be animals. Yeah, the T-Rex was a baddie in the first one, but we didn't think of it as a baddie. It was just an animal. The Lost World, Buck of the Doe, they were the baddies of the films, essentially, but they were just animals doing what animals do. And then it's taken a turn where suddenly, like, the filmmakers, Universal, whoever, they look at it and thinking, right, this is what the audience wants. But in reality, it might be what the mainstream moviegoer wants, or a cool monster, blah, blah, but for diehard fans, like actual proper Jurassic fans, we just want realistic dinosaurs. We don't care if they're not 100% accurate, but as long as they're portrayed as animals and not movie monsters, that's all we want and need. Like this, the route they keep going down is just rinse, repeat, and it's so
even to the point of like the Titanosaur, as good as that looks, and the model looks great, even with the sales and stuff, I would have rather have seen, like, if you like, an OG Titanosaur with no sales and stuff. Like, I know that's part of the story, but
I actually don't mind. It's weird because I thought I was going to hate the designs, but the fact is that because we've been pre-told that it's mutants. It's basically their very first iterations of these animals, and they're not meant to be correct. That's why they look in certain ways they do. That's why I don't care that it's got cells, because it's not meant to be accurate. Even in film canon, it's not meant to be accurate. So they've explained it before the movies even come out. But with these new things, I mean, this is meant to be a mutant animal, but it doesn't look anything like a dinosaur. And I think that's why I at least with the Indominus and the Indoraptor, like, it looks like a dinosaur. It can be passed as a dinosaur. With this, it doesn't look like a dinosaur whatsoever.
That looks like something from looks like a face hugger.
I was just going to say that this whole shot looks like it has just literally come out of Alien Romulus.
That's why I said about that capsule there. It looks
100%
like go to the time, but the next one doesn't.
100%. It does look like it. Unreleased Classic says those incubators look new. Like an example, look at the JP3 hatchery, and then look at this. The fetus is more malnourished and mummified, but the two-headed raptor is extremely fresh. This is honestly, I do think that's what it is. I think that's the Sinister Project. We're going to find out that he becomes the villain in this film, and then he's going to get his demise later in the film because he's the villain, of course. And he's never going to, luckily, get his project back to the mainland or wherever it is.
Here's an idea, because we've already seen this in Chaos Theory. What if all of this is a rogue scientist that's the guy that you're talking about coming back to the island to get his project back? His chief scientist gone rogue. He's completely cut himself off from the outside world. He's done whatever with all the staff that's there. And this is his project. This is now he's like, I'm going to make the perfect organism, doing a David for Xenomorph type thing. Because we've already had it with the scientist with the blind.
I mean, the mutant does look a very Xenomorph-esque, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Rancorn looking thing.
Do you know what? I know we're going to get onto it in a minute, right? With that mutant, but I would have preferred that mutant to be something around the size of the one from my God, what's it called? TV show Primeval. You know the
Future
Predator.
Yeah.
That would have been more scary. I know we've not seen too much of it, so we might be wrong. I might be wrong on this, but that's what I would probably prefer to see mutant wise.
I'm wondering who has made these as well, because if this is, I don't know whether this is a Henry Wu thing either.
That's what I mean. This feels like it's not InGen. This feels like it's somebody else's technology.
Could be.
But I think this part of the story is going to be interesting. I think they've manipulated the trailer to make it look like they're talking about this.
Yeah. 100%.
So we've gone back to the jungle. This is a great shot here.
Yeah.
That looks like something straight out of Terra Nova. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, love that show.
Yeah.
And I think what that show did really well was made the world that they lived in just look like a dinosaur haven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked so natural and picturesque. And this completely took me back to Terra Nova. And I'm so gutted that show got cancelled.
Yeah. I still watch it about once a year, but I'm still devastated every time it gets to the end of season 1. And I'm like,
nothing follows it, yeah.
But this is a good build-up to where they're going. To be honest, I want to know how they're going to get up there.
Yeah.
Because it's all right abseiling, but
Abseil
you've got to get up there first to connect
Yeah,
it all up
yeah.
and then go to abseil. So how the hell have they got up there? So that'd be interesting to know. And I noticed, did you notice we didn't, at one point, we didn't get that bit where they're walking through the swamp?
Mm.
You know, the
Oh, yeah.
screenshot of them walking through the
Yeah.
We didn't see that in live action. So at some point we've got to see that scene as well, which is quite exciting. So they go up to the cliff edge where he's talking about why can't we just go to the main bird?
I think he looks like a Wish version of Henry Cavill, the one in the back.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, what's his name in it? The dude, the glasses.
Henry Loomis.
Henry Loomis, that's it. He was saying then to that guy, do we have to get we have to get it from an egg because, you know, they're a very dangerous carnivore, aren't they?
Yeah.
But this was obviously the shot that they did at the sounds over at the Sky History Studios that we saw the screenshot of. It's quite funny because looking at that, it just shows you how amazing the visual effects are.
Yeah.
When you see that, like fake image, not fake image, but you know, like a.
Consider how much of it was an actual set.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. I even love the little detail of the rainbow.
Yeah.
I know it's something silly, but
that just puts you in. It bases it in reality more.
It really does.
I didn't even notice that before, actually.
Look at that.
Yeah. So urgency into the environment. It's little things like that that really help sell a location when it's artificial and on a set, as opposed to just literally putting actors in danger by taking them out somewhere that might not even exist, or just building an entire forest in a soundstage and just making it look like you've just gone to IKEA to get your jungle out.
So what do you think of the Mayan ruins then? Like the temple-y type thing?
Yeah. I think they look really cool, to be honest. I don't think they're going to get like any kind of explanation. I think they're just there for the effect, really. That's about it. But they do look really cool.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to really bring anything to the story other than being visually looking well. Like, I don't think there's going to be anything specific with this location other than the nest being in there. But
yeah, the purpose
it's a cool location for them to visit.
Yeah.
And it's to be honest with you, it's a nice what's the word I'm looking for? It's a nice side thing to what anything we've seen previously. We've seen the visitor centre, we've seen the construction sites, we've seen Jurassic World in full glory. So it's now nice to see something that's actually more ancient and set back in human history has been something that's actually been forward in human history.
I remember when the screenshots came out from when they were filming it, and people were like, "Oh, that looks like a dinosaur. Do you think it's an ancient civilization that's been worshipping dinosaurs on the island for all these years?" It's like, yeah.
After seeing that mutant, I wouldn't be surprised if
don't put anything past them.
if I'm actually honest. So we obviously the game Trespasser. There was a point in the game where you come across some ancient ruins on Isla Nublar. Yeah. Now, I think we're coming to the conclusion this isn't not Nublar, sorry, Sauna. This isn't Site B. This is another island. As much as I want it to be Site B, it isn't. So we can only assume that there was once a civilization here to build that built a temple or something. This is very Indiana Jones. I love it. Yeah. What Indiana Jones film was the one with the bag of gold or whatever it was? Raiders. It's very like that, and I think it's the build-up's going to feel like that too. I wonder if there's a few different. I wonder if there's like a story written in the artwork, and it gives a bit of a backstory as to what was once there. As just an interesting thing that they can then explore.
I don't know whether they'll go that far into it. Depends how much you can put. They've got story time to spare.
Yeah, that's true. I do like a little bit of a backstory though. It makes things a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? Like, So this is the scene, another view of where, or is that what they've extracted, or is that what they're putting in?
I was just trying to figure that out, because if they've extracted it, then that's a lot of air for something that big.
Well, I would have thought that it'd be more blood coloured as well.
Yeah.
Where is it extracting it from?
I suppose it could be like an egg yolky type thing, not egg yolk, it'd be like the egg white, you know, like the
Yeah, but even then, it's like if anything you extract
Membrane,
with a
yeah.
syringe, unless it's butted up to the rubber suction thing as you pull it back, the only way air's going to get into there is if you pull so much of it back, pull it back even further, and then just pull it out in the air. So unless he's done that to begin with, but yeah, it kind of looks like he's about to inject something into it, not the other way around.
Or unless he was part doing it and got interrupted.
Yeah,
That could be yeah.
So-
That's not a thing in Medusa.
Quite, or a hapsic.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
That's
I'm gonna open
it's definitely
up-
Hapsy.
Right. How do you
That's
spell
definitely
that?
a Hapsy.
How do you spell it?
H.
Yeah. Raptor. There you go. No, it's not haptotherapy.
I'll tell you something with the
how the hell do you
toy
spell
merch,
it?
though.
How the hell do you spell
It's
it? Oh yeah,
HATGOPTERYX.
Hexagoderopteryx. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got an image here. Right, bear with us 2 seconds.
It
Let
does
me just
to me
stop
look
that.
like either a Quetz or a Hapsigotsrix, to be honest.
I mean, it feels more like a Haptopteryx than it does a Quetzalcoatlus, that's for sure. But I was just about to say, in terms of the toys, I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised
look at that.
if they misnamed it again, like they did with the Pachyrhinosaur.
Look at that thing.
Now, what I will say is there are some versions of Hapsi that I've got like a bit of a turn up on the bill. But for the most part, it tends to be the top of the head rather than the bottom of the bill, like that one is. But
Yeah. I mean, it's that shaped bill though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like look at the Jurassic World.
that's why when I first saw it, it was the front of the bill that I saw first, and that's what made me think it was a Hapsi over a Quetz. But
See,
look at
the
that.
difference in that.
Yeah,
It's not even remotely the same animal, is it?
Yeah, but let's not forget that these aren't meant to be accurate, like purposely in the canon.
Yeah.
Like, they're not meant to be what they were meant to be in real life. Even in the film canons, where they're not accurate in real life anyway. But in that universe, they're meant to be. They're meant to be their very first iterations of this particular animal. That is obviously they're felled clones, so they're not meant to look anything like their real counterparts. So I prefer the Dominion design. Absolutely, I wish they brought it back in and just scaled it down. But I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just there, sort of thing for me.
do you know what? I wish would have gone with a totally different design and a totally different territory, something like a Tropicarthus or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know your way. It's the nose crest that sort of like it takes me away from it. If it didn't have that, it was just a straight thick bill. I think it'd look a lot better, to be honest.
Yeah.
What do you think of the design of that?
What, the screech?
No, the actual animal.
Oh,
I can't stop it. It's annoying me.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't hate it.
There we go. It's not the best shot, but it's the best you're going to get.
The neck looks a bit it looks too skinny. But maybe
That's probably the way I paused it in motion, to be fair. It's probably in proportion.
things with the Dominion design. I know it's too large, but it like the feathers and everything like that. Well, the downy feathers and all that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it looks cool, but I don't particularly love it. But I don't really hate it, to be honest.
So in this scene, obviously the Quetzal thing comes back, and then they're like, "Oh crap,
Yeah,
let's get out of here." However, he clearly gets knocked, and then...
I like this bit though.
yeah, that's such a cool scene.
This is cool.
So this scene looks weird actually, because if you look,
It's being pulled out.
he's getting pulled out there.
Mm.
The rope is that way. Now on the next scene, Scarlet is holding him back.
But
I don't think that's. I think that's something completely different things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now you see what I think's happened here is I think the Quetz has grabbed the other guy that was climbing with them, and he's attached to the other guy like you would do when you're climbing mountains or rocks.
Yeah, that'd be so funny.
I think he's tethered to the other guy, and the bird has carried off the other guy. Oh,
although,
but no, then
actually, it does tense. And look, the rainbow is still there as well. Actually, look at the rainbow.
Oh, but then she, so that can't be then.
Well, actually, no, that could be right. You could be right. It's made it film like now you've watched it in slow motion. It does actually make sense.
Yeah,
he's on a different level to her.
Yeah. And then she has a Matrix moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be easily just like different edits that they've just cut together to make it feel like it's one continuous sequence, and it's not.
I mean, I'm still like he was being pulled off.
Yeah, it's like that. Like his whole angle was very weird. It's like you say, he's been pulled out, and then suddenly he's been yanked up again.
Yeah. So if he maybe gets
whatever's pulling him out darts up, I don't know.
What if he's? Well, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, what if he's cut his cord and then she yanks him up with another one? But because he might be attached to two people with him being in the middle, I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a chain link, might it?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, we see some lovely panned out shots of the islands, the archipelago. Then we see, I think this is where it starts to take a darker turn in the final act.
Yeah.
Although we're still only 1 minute and 27 into the trailer, I think they've juggled it all about, so you can't quite work out when things are happening. The only thing I want to do better in terms of the way the movie flows is I felt like Dominion, the theatrical version had context missing. The extended edition, then I felt like had 2 third acts. It was almost like they didn't quite know how to do it, and I'm hoping this doesn't do that. This is a nighttime shot, so I'm wondering whether they'll survive the night and then the next day, or whether they keep going until the night time, and then the next day is when the movie climaxes. It's like almost like Jurassic Park, where it's done over the course of a 24-hour situation, you know? I'm getting very Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus attacking the boat vibes from this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mahershala Ali shouting, screaming. He's obviously acting like the hero. Ian Freeze moment. I wonder what that is around her neck. I wonder if that has any. If it's just
called a necklace, James.
No, but I wonder if that actually has some meaning to it, like that, like Darius's necklace in the camp.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like St. Christopher's Cross or something like that.
So I'm assuming this is one of the family members.
Yeah.
And that is still that Rupert Friend guy. He's still alive at this point. We have raptors. Actually, that's a cool scene. I'm going to play that one.
Please don't say they're raptors. They're raptors.
That I felt that was a very Chris Pratt line, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder how many fans are screaming, "It's Blue! Blue's come back!"
Do you think those feet are bigger than the raptors we've had in GP1 and GP2 and 3?
Not at all.
They're about the same size.
Like, I'm not saying necessarily oversized. I couldn't work out whether they looked a bit bigger.
No, I don't think they're bigger at all, and I think they are. I
suppose when you look at the sickle claw, actually, it's not all.
I don't think so.
I think they're about the right size, and I'm pretty sure those are practical feet as well. Actually, I don't think they're CG.
I like it.
There's a proper callback to Jurassic Park.
The thing is, how many heads is it going to have?
Oh, don't.
6. 6 heads, and it's going to cost.
I'm actually thinking it will come out with 2 heads.
I hope it does.
I think that it was a callback to the thing there.
No, you don't.
Hold on. What's the timestamp? 59 minutes. I need Steve to clip this in a short of Matt's expression then. 59 minutes.
If that comes out with 2 heads, it would literally take me right out of the movie. It honestly will.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I was saying when we were in the back room before. The idea of the Jurassic Park franchise, from Crichton's point of view, is that it's all about genetic manipulation. So I'm for having things with like multiple heads and are all messed up genetically and everything, because that with that sort of power, it's anything's fair game, anything can happen. But because you've got the title Jurassic Park, it all has to be centralized through not Mesozoic, the other one, Paleolithic creatures. So the moment you start throwing in aliens and dino DNA and other dimensional creatures, that's when it all starts going complete cack. But if this was a franchise that was called InGen Projects, no one would have anything to argue against. So it wouldn't matter whether it was a raptor with 6 heads or whether it was a dog with a donkey's backside. It's all about genetic manipulation at the end of the day.
A raptor with a backpack on with a head that comes out of it, like Men in Black 3. Just like a little raptor coming out of the backpack.
Better yet, a raptor with 2 heads, and one's Alan Grant and the other one's Owen Grady.
Yeah.
I mean, it's safe to assume that there's more than one there present, because obviously he says to that family member, he said raptors. So there's obviously more than one there.
Yeah.
But I do love the shot. It's a proper callback to Jurassic Park in the kitchen scene. Where the
yeah, absolutely.
Where he taps the floor of his sickle floor.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't do that though. I'm sick of that trope now.
No, I didn't like.
I need to see this.
When the Indo Raptor did, I didn't like it then either.
Yeah.
I want to see if this looks like a practical effect or not.
They're raptors. They're raptors.
I thought it was practical when it started.
It's quite hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very quick shot. I mean, the only reason I think it's a practical is just the way the light hits the skin. It doesn't feel too. I'm trying to think what the word is. Too matte. So with CG at the moment, they lean very much on the heavily glossy, which is understandable, or they go too matte and they just put too many layers into it.
Yeah.
But a practical effect, they'll use the silicones, and silicones have a certain way of emitting, dispersing light through it. And that to me feels more like a practical effect than a CG. If I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up and say,
if you're wrong, it just shows you how well they've done it.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. That's what I mean.
Of the water surface water when that foot hit, and I know they can do that in CG, but for me, it just looks a bit more practical.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like I'm happy to throw my hands up and say I'm wrong if that turns out to be the CG shot, but my gut instinct is saying
if we are wrong,
it's a practical.
Applaud to the.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Team, yeah, absolutely. Do we know the visual effects team? I'll be honest. Is it still ILM?
Yes, ILM.
It's ILM doing the digital, but I don't know if there's any practical in this.
And I know we don't know anything about the composer either yet. Say that again, Matt.
I'm pretty sure that Gareth Edwards said that there was no practical effects in it whatsoever. It was all CGI.
Really?
I'm pretty sure in one of the articles. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I remember a quote of him saying that. But thing is, one thing I did notice actually from the trailer that I haven't questioned any CGI shots whatsoever. And you can go back to the first 3 trailers of the original of the World trilogy, and there was a few shots, like even though they got touched up later on, but there was a few shots that we thought that didn't look good. But in this one, still 5 months away from release, so they can still do a lot of post production stuff. The CGI looks really, really good, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm the same with that. It's like all these shots look absolutely spot on at the moment. There's like there's nothing that makes me think, oh god, yeah, that's a
yeah. I've not seen bad CGI yet, actually. Evan Kirichinch says, I feel like there's going to be the 2-headed raptors going to somehow be alive. The one in the tank, like a JP3. I mean, I hope not, but also wouldn't be very surprised either. It's one of those ones where it's on the nose. So we're just about to see Steve's most hated part of this trailer. Let's watch for a few seconds.
The worst of the worst. We're left here.
The worst of the worst were left here. And we have our first gorilla-esque type. What would you call that?
Rancor hand.
A rancor. So
it's definitely got to have like base gorilla DNA in there somewhere for it to have that kind of an arm.
It's
human.
massive, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But later
Absolutely is.
on, we see a shot where it doesn't look. Let's see if I can find that, and we'll go back to this point. Here, that is not.
Yeah.
That does not look like the same animal size.
This is a flashback, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's that
flashback this.
two-headed raptor in the cell. That feels like a flashback to me because you look at the InGen sign down there. That looks like it's freshly printed, whereas the
And
one
the
that had
actors
the
as
background
well.
shot earlier was knackered.
So why would the actors, like the current group there on the island, why would they be dressed like that?
Yeah.
I think that the person, obviously that person's been purposely locked in there. And I think that's maybe someone that disagreed with what they were trying to attempt to make. And he was probably going to go to the authority and say, look, there's some stuff going on there that needs investigated. And maybe like, that's the creation. You think, no, you don't, Sonny. And that's how he's obviously going to keep it hushed, basically.
Yeah.
But
Might be
that's
Gennaro's
definitely-
brother.
It's probably explaining why it is the way it is and how it got to be there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of so the design of this animal, a little bit of me is just like, well, a lot of me is thinking, just why, like we don't need it. I think it's something that David Koepp and Spielberg have wanted to do since the John Sayles script.
Yeah.
In Jurassic Park 4, and I think he's been given the license for it. And they said, providing, because this is something that I don't think Trevorrow would have done.
No,
absolutely.
I actually don't think he would have done. Because to credit where he's due, as much as I didn't like how that last movie actually ended up being, like he did care about the past, and I'm interested to know how where they come to this situation, how they got to it.
I think he cared only as far as Jurassic Park. I don't think Trevorrow really give two hoots about the Lost World or Jurassic Park 3. I mean, the fact that Sorna barely gets a mention in all three films, I think it's mentioned twice over 3 films. It's like, I think thing is, I've mentioned this before. I remember when Jurassic World, before it was released, I remember Trevorrow doing an interview with Frontier when obviously they were making Jurassic World Evolution. And he said something on that interview, which it always stuck with me. He referred to Nublar as all 3 films that previously took place happened on Nublar. He didn't know that The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 took place on Sorna. And I remember watching it, laughing, scratching my head, thinking, oh dear. Because obviously we want Sorna to be like canon, which obviously it is. We know it is. But I think he just, because obviously The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 wasn't well received, especially compared to Jurassic Park, I think he just wanted to try and avoid it altogether. And I honestly believe he didn't have much care at all for The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
That's just sad, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, consider that The Lost World is still a lot of people's actual favourite Jurassic Park film.
It's that's my most nostalgic one. Like Jurassic Park, I saw in the theatre, but I was kind of like, I was still on the young, terrified side of it when it came out. But when The Lost World came out, I was like prime age, so it kind of. I remember all the merchandise being like proper distinct. Right, let's continue with this.
We're left here.
Come on. So he's trying to be the Malcolm hero here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to die, or do you think he's actually going to survive it?
I think he's going to die.
Yeah.
Go on, Chris.
I don't think he's going to die here, right at this second. I think this is going to kill him.
Yeah.
James, today when we were talking, and I said I have a theory about this particular scene.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be very close to the end of the movie, and I think that what Duncan Kincaid is doing here, he's luring it into the water, and I think the 3 Spinosauruses are going to kill this creature. Because
I didn't even see the water until then.
Did you not?
No.
Because they know fans have wanted the Spinosaurus back for years. And they're not going to bring it back just to have it in 1 or 2 scenes with the Mosasaur and that's it. They're going to bring it back like the T-Rex did in Jurassic Park. They bring it back at the end because it's like the star of the film, basically. This animal, this mutant, is going to get killed and taken down by the 3 Spinosaurus.
And they're not going to use the Mosasaur to do that because they already did that with Jurassic World.
And that's why he's got the flare.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Matt, you could be onto one there, mate.
I honestly think it came to me literally only last night. Obviously, probably my 5,000 viewing of the trailer. But it came to me and I thought that is such a typical sort of modern day take on what they would do.
Yeah.
So I honestly believe that's what's going to happen.
See, in my head, I had it in doing. I didn't actually think of the Spinosaurus. That's actually a good shout, but I thought of him being in the water. Is he leading it somewhere where, again, maybe a call back to Jurassic Park 3, where there's a bit of a slick in the water and he can maybe set the water alight, or something like that. But yeah, again, that was just an idea. But yeah, I think that you've hit it on the head there with the Spino, I think.
And I think it'd make more sense for 3 Spinosaurus to kill it instead of 1, because that animal, that mutant there, looks like it would probably kill a Spinosaurus on its own, but 3 of them, it would probably.
Can we give this mutant a name? Because I feel like if we just keep calling it mutant and like, I don't know, call it Harry or something. I don't know, but
Harry.
Like, do you know what to me? I know. Like I've seen online that they've drawn a lot of inspiration from Alien and the Rancor from Star Wars and stuff like that. For me, it literally looks like a Rancor with no eyes.
Yeah.
For me, there's no. If they're going to do a mutant, like they basically just copied a Rancor, made it a bit smoother, give it a facelift, and that's it. Like, I don't see the point in having something that looks that much like something else. Make something that looks totally different if you're going to do a mutant.
Yeah,
I don't. I think they played it a bit safe and a bit boring.
What
we've seen,
like we discussed earlier, it needs to look more dinosaur-esque, really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, you know what? I can even get away with it dinosaur-esque. Like I said, if it would have been like the Future Predator or something, that looks nothing like a dinosaur. I probably would have been a bit more on board with that.
It reminds me a little bit of the. Also, there's a little bit of the Cloverfield monster in it.
Yeah.
Too. Oh, Chris's
yeah.
No, it's not. Sorry.
No, it's not. He's still talking.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, like I was just about to say, that there's a bit more to the design apart from the aesthetics that we're already seeing, which you get to kind of sneak at in the scene where it's in the cage with the 2 scientist guys. But I'll wait until we get up to that before.
Do you think it's got a tail?
Yeah.
It's got a tail. It's definitely got a tail, but it's also got something else as well, which makes it more the mutant than it is just like a generic Rancor sort of thing, which I'm a bit annoyed about, actually.
What's that?
They stole my idea.
Oh,
Actually, I remember. I've seen your armature of that, I think.
Yeah. So, James, just fast forward it a bit. Just fast forward it a bit. Go to that scene.
What one?
The scene where he's a scientist in the red light.
Okay.
Where he's locked in the lab.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. So just click it forward a few frames if you can.
I'm gonna have to just play it quick.
There we go. Sarah, let's see that tiny little T-Rex arm in the foreshadow.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's got 4 arms.
Yeah.
So they've stolen my Xenotyrannosaurus Rex from the wildlife on Mars.
I love that creature.
It's like, right, I want royalties, Gareth. So that was my idea.
Yeah, I want royalties, yeah.
Is it a marsupial? Is that a pouch with another one inside it?
No, that'll be the like it's because I think that's where the T-Rex side of it from Gareth's comment has come from. Is that it's got these tiny little arms, but then you've got this monstrosity that's built around it as well.
Because it's going to grab him with them little arms in it and pull him in and bite his head off.
Yeah, and then tickle him.
Are we tickling? Are we all in agreement that this thing has to have human DNA in it?
I wouldn't say human. I'd probably say more sapien. So hence the gorilla thing. But yeah, I wouldn't say human.
I go back to the John Sells bit that James was referring to just now. I think this has to have some level of human DNA. It could have a mixture of things as well, like primate as well. But I do think it's going to have human DNA in it, which absolutely sucks.
You've got to ask yourself as well. This, like, I understand that it's like they made this. Obviously, this is probably a flashback, and they've made this testing and like testing stuff out and stuff. But what possible use could they have had in this creation? Like, what would they use it for? Like, I get them making hybridized dinosaurs like the Indominus because that was maybe going to be used as a military thing in the future and stuff like that. But what are you going to use this for?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It wasn't meant to be created, or it wasn't meant to look that way. It was obviously a first attempt of a clone that's obviously gone horribly wrong. But if that has got a mixture of DNA of other things, whether it's human, primate, etc., how are they going to explain how it got in there? Because obviously, if they're trying to create a dinosaur which has gone wrong, it's only going to have dinosaur DNA, maybe something. We know they put frog DNA in Jurassic Park. Maybe they were experimenting with different sorts, basically to fill in the genome gaps, and they were experimenting with different types of animals. And this was obviously the creation. They thought, "Oh shit, let's go back and try that again," because this is not what we had in mind, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've dated
exactly.
As much as I know we all don't really like this mutant thing, right? I do think this scene is going to be absolutely superb, though.
Yeah.
Put this scene in any other science fiction movie, we're like, this is going to be great. So I've no worries about how it's going to end up playing out. I think it's going to be great. Is right now the question is this the actual size of the mutant, or is
that
is that
that
a bad CG shot?
No, the first one is. I don't think it was fully grown.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why I think it's a flashback.
Yeah.
Well, if you compare that foot to the size of what that was back in that flashback, there's no way. It's the same animal, but much bigger.
Here's a devil's advocate idea for you guys. So, Matty, if we're going to go on the base that this is has a little bit of human DNA in it, what if the face of that creature looks like John Hammond?
I would probably pop myself. I would say goodbye to you individually, and you'd never see me again.
I mean, the Universal probably paid to use his likeness, so they could have done.
Yeah.
Probably got a stamp on the back
over everybody.
No
We've got a T-Rex.
Now,
Hammond DNA.
This was one of my favourite scenes in the trailer. This bit.
Right, let's move on from talking a load of crap.
Yeah.
Now, let's pause it there. Can you see the Rex?
Yeah. I was going to say, has anyone spotted the Rex behind her?
But is that the Rex, though?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I've double checked.
He's stalking her from behind the bush.
Yeah. If you look at the platform, you can see the head just underneath the bush, like going in towards the water.
Yeah, the back of the head. The back of the neck is above her head, and then you've got the slope of the spine going down through the bush line. So
that's the spine. That's the back of the tail. Yeah. That's right. That's the skull.
And then there'll be a bolt just off camera there where she'll jump on, and then that'll be the next scene with the Rex.
I mean, I like the fact it's almost using the tiger stripes as camouflage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I love that the dial's back.
So you think she's running from that Rex?
No, I think she's running from the dial.
Yeah, I think the Rex is just there asleep. I don't think anyone's aware of it being there.
Then she runs down the jetty, and all of a sudden it's like, rah, and then it tries to go.
So you think that shot of the T-Rex is from the jetty?
Yeah.
Where is that shot?
It might chase her a bit downriver.
It's a bit further back. No, forward.
I don't remember seeing it.
Right, hang on. Slow down. Right, go back. We'll go forward a bit. Keep going forward.
It's after that shot.
Forward. There you go. There. Yeah, so back a bit. It's between that science centre shot. This one and the.
Let me see if I can play it.
After this one. Yeah, play it.
There
you go.
So you think that's on the jetty?
Yeah.
In fact, is she wearing the same clothing?
Yeah. You can see the bush behind the Rex.
Yeah.
That's not the same bush.
No, it'd be on this side.
It'd be this side.
On the right-hand side.
It'd be this side off screen.
But it is, like, literally, I reckon she stood on the pier there.
Yeah. Right, okay, okay.
I really hope not.
I actually think that's what that is. And then she jumps in. She either jumps into the water and then swims out and manages to escape. Because I think that's then it comes off that grass hedge, which could be shallower,
goes into the river,
and then tries to get her in the water.
Yeah, it's the same person.
Done it though. That's
Because
a
when you look at
proper-
that,
that
that's a
is-
gradual shovel bit there where that pier is.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I think you're right here. She stumbles across. She must. I'm wondering if she comes from here. She stumbles across the dialo. She's like, "Oh crap!" Runs to
backs
there,
up. Yeah.
and then the Rex is asleep. Wakes up, chases them all.
Now,
Something like that.
in
yeah.
the book, where they obviously this scene technically is kind of inspired from, there was
Yeah.
multiple dialogues. I'm wondering whether we're going to see more than one.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about them using the Dominion version.
No,
variant,
I love that the dial's in it. I hate that it's a Dominion one.
but I don't mind the fact that it's a CGI one. So I think the CGI
No.
one will look 10
No.
times better than the.
As long as it
Yeah,
fits the
yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they were weird, weren't they? But yeah, I'm intrigued to see if we get a better shot of that. And how good would it be if this is actually a full size Dilo and it manages to spit and it spits at her from there?
Imagine if it spit and got the Rex right in the eye.
I wonder if we're going to get a bit of a showdown with those, or they just sort of run away.
I hope
because
so.
they're quite ill.
I don't know whether they take. A group of them might do.
I mean, realistically, they would just run away. So
What do you think? The right hand side here? Do you think that's like an old?
It looks like something from Avatar.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like a monorail type device, but I'm not even sure what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Is that the bottom of that? That's opened.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's on a hinge, isn't it? It's on a hinge.
See, when
isn't
you
it?
look at
Yeah.
that little gap there above the hinge, it looks like it's got some of that stuff that you use in like
Like cargo netting type
cargo
stuff.
netting and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, yeah.
I reckon
Yes,
this.
It's interesting.
Oh, there's so much stuff that I just love that I find
Yeah.
interesting. This is the thing, like, I mean, taking it at face value from like what we can see here, there's a lot of things that I love about this trailer, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. Hoffman's back. Welcome.
I say this was my favorite part of the trailer. This like little few scenes here with this.
Yeah.
It was almost
let's
right
go.
on the book.
Oh, I love that Rex.
There you go.
Rex
I know.
looks so good.
Can we
Honestly.
appreciate the T-Rex a minute?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
even though we can't.
Best Rex in the franchise.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm
It's
so
so
good.
good.
I'm just glad it's not. It's the book. The book's back. It's like it's a completely different Rex. Thank you. Something
Yeah.
different.
Things
Not
I'm
Rexy,
glad they
it's
didn't
not
touch,
something you've seen.
the design as well. Like they didn't alter the way it looks. I don't think Universal would even be that stupid to alter the way the T-Rex looks, because it's literally the staple dinosaur of the
Yeah.
franchise. They wouldn't. I don't think
Absolutely.
they'd touch it.
I don't know. I think they could have given it a sale,
Mm.
like everything else.
Trying
With
to
some
wind me up.
spikes that shoot up.
No, can we agree that it's probably up there with the best design in the franchise?
Yeah, I was
Absolutely.
thinking what we've
I
seen so
think-
far.
I think it's the best Rex. I'm going to be saying I think it's better than the Buck.
It's stunning, isn't it? Like it's nice and thick. as
Yeah.
well.
I would
Straight
like
back.
to see it. I think I want to see it like fully stood, and you know, like when you can see like the behind the scenes, the CGI sort of
Yeah.
motion, the walking motions, and all that sort of stuff. I hope it moves properly. Now, I had a big problem with the way that the animals moved in Dominion. I just didn't like their CGI. I felt like they came across to me like there was a little bit weightless,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they sort of. I mean, like when you go back to like the Jurassic Park 3, even the Jurassic World T-Rex,
Yeah, you felt the thud.
it sort of walked like that and jiggled as it walked. So you felt that element of like weight to the animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found like Dominion for the Giganotosaurus that moved quite slow and almost like Godzilla type like. And the T-Rex almost walked to. Do you know what it was? I think the T-Rex actually walked like a real bird, and I think they went so realistic with the way it walks. Because if you watch a bird walk, an ostrich, a chicken, any bird actually walk, they're very, very graceful and gentle when they place their feet down. And if you watch how the T-Rex moves in Dominion, it, to a credit to the realism, it's probably right. But to the untrained eye as to what you've been used to for 30 years, for them to almost change that style, it almost popped out to me, and I just didn't like it. I'm hoping this reverts back a little bit to give him a bit of a wobble.
I do like
wobble.
the scar on its leg as well.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice little touch.
Oh, yeah.
Someone was talking the other day about that being a number 7. Not for you, man. Not for you.
It's just a scar.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's the number of anything, it's a 3, but it's backwards, so no, I'm not buying it.
I'm waiting for some idiot to give it a bloody name, and then the whole bloody social media.
Don't. This is going to be called. This is going to be called Stripey, and it already.
They're probably call it Scar.
Yeah.
They probably call it Scar, and it's like,
Well, be prepared for that.
Just Rex. It's just a Rex with a scar. That's it.
Yeah, it's a fucking T-Rex. That's it.
So sorry. Continue on this. Let's move on to So now this is developing into where you guys were talking about then.
Yeah,
So
but that's different. That's a different character.
Well, they can all jump in the river.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I know we don't see who's off camera, but that is a different person. Yeah.
But how do you not know that the others are not inside that building?
We don't.
Or
so they could come out, hear the commotion, and they're like, "Oh my god!" jump in the water, and then that happens.
Or did she wander off to do her business, stumbled upon Dilo, stumbles on Rex, jumps in the water, Rex chases her down water to where the others are, and that scene happens.
Oh, I think that's definitely how it goes down. I was just wondering, they haven't actually shown her again in the trailer, but I'm trying to work out who that actually is. Who's got a red shirt on? Or is that one of the family?
It's some. Yeah, it's.
I was going to say it must be a family member.
It's on the boat.
That's her there, isn't it?
I think his name's Delgado. I think.
Him.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
that's the dad. So maybe he jumps in after her because obviously it's the dad. Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah. Notice that these Spinos have got different
patterns
as well. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Yeah, that's definitely him. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Stay on that. Go back a sec. I know it's hard to go back a frame.
It's that one.
What's that on the right hand side there? Is that anything, or is it just seaweed?
That's just seaweed.
It looked like antennas for a minute. I was like, what is that?
No, it's just seaweed.
It was a giant snail or something.
I think the greatest scene in the film. I honestly do.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
I want to know what is wrong with this T-Rex to the point of it being warranted to being on this island, because it looks like
too aggressive.
It just looks like a normal T-Rex to me.
Good.
No, that's what I mean.
It's got 4 toes rather than 3.
I'll accept that. Just.
I wonder if it has 3. I wonder if it has 3 fingers.
Oh, that's a good point.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Purposely, just so it could flick you off.
Yeah.
Just like.
No, I think it's just going to be something subtle. Like it was just too aggressive. They couldn't get in there to trank it. It just wouldn't budge. They thought, just stuff it, just leave it.
Yeah.
Right. So the trailer moves on to this part of the film. I think this is quite. I don't think this is. Do you think this is towards the end, or do you think this is towards This is quite hard to gauge, isn't it?
I think it's as they arrive to the island.
Yeah, because if you look at the characters, they don't look very well. Like she doesn't look like remotely like she's been through much at all, and nor does Scarlett. To be fair,
no.
The first dinosaur encounter.
The hair's her hair's done nicely and stuff, so there's no way.
Yeah. So has she got that necklace on, by the way? Actually.
Yeah, she has. Yeah.
Where you can just.
You can just about see the chain. Yeah.
Right. So. Where are we there? So we've got 3 Spinos. These 2 have got the same pattern. This one is different, and I'm wondering whether that's sexual dimorphism or it's a different variant of Spinosaurus.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's a different variant. I reckon that'd be cool.
And we've got a new Mosasaurus with a. Well, it looks like a shark fin, but it's
Hopefully,
So let me have a look at a Mosasaurus.
I'm gonna say I both love and don't like the scene at the same time.
Go on, reflect.
I love what they've done visually with it. I think the spinos look great. Not overly keen on the design of the Mosa, and I know it's more paleo accurate, so I get that. And I get that animals in the natural world do work together to kind of hunt things and stuff. I don't know whether a Mosa would help Spino. I could be wrong, but for me, I think they're just way too different of a species to maybe help with that. Like I know hyenas will help lions and stuff like that, but they're fairly similar in, if you like. But I just don't. I don't think it's going to irritate me when I watch it, but I didn't love it when I first saw it.
So they've exaggerated the sharp dorsal type thing a little bit, but the real Mosa did have that sort of tail, right?
Yeah.
So they've tried to go with a bit more realism. I wonder why they have actually changed the Mosasaurus we already know. And that's
I would have liked to have kept the original Mosa that we've had. Even if it was slightly different.
It's a bit smaller, this too.
Yeah, I mean, this is my biggest issue with this film so far from the trailer that we've got at the moment. We've got animals in the franchise that we're familiar with and nostalgic with that are being portrayed now as completely different. So is it a question of that they're retconning the whole design aspect because we now know what they're more closely looks like in paleo accuracy? Or are we saying that these are completely different animals that have been genetically engineered? Because if that's the case, then why, if we were going to assume that these Spinosaurs are more accurate to what we know now, then why would the Spinosaur look the way it did back in 2001? Because then technically, shouldn't they already look like this?
I was kind of thinking the same with the Mosa. Like, if they've got the Mosa like this and they're thinking, you know what, that looks good, why would they change it to look like the Mosa that we've got in Jurassic World?
Because
they've got a perfectly good design for a Mosa right there.
Masrani said he wanted more, like, you know, when him and Wu were having that discussion and Wu said you didn't want realism, you wanted more teeth, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's why, because I mean, again, let's not forget, these are the first iterations of these animals. And you think, even going back to the novels, do you remember Hamlin used to argue with Wu saying the people want dinosaurs to look like how the media presented them, not to be basically real. And I reckon that's what the Spinosaurus in 2001.
That's what you gave me, Henry. Real dinosaur.
Like, I haven't got really any issue with how they look necessarily. Like, the Mosa looks different, and you can, like you said, Matt, there, you can explain it with that story. What my beef is with this scene is the fact that they're working together, and it might explain it in a nice way, but for me, they're very two different species to be doing that. But,
the behavior throws me off, don't get me wrong, it does, because like Chris said, I think they're too separated as a species to be doing that. But
I'm glad you mentioned that, Matt. This is what I was waiting for, actually, to have my turn to sort of say about that. Are you going to say how the Mosas should be like killing these Spinos for food?
Yeah, basically.
That's basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't know. It may very well do that. You know, if the boat escapes, which inevitably it does, obviously there'd be a few deaths on board. Maybe the Mosa thinks, okay, that didn't work, I'll take down one of these Spinos. But on a separate note, quickly, I've got to say, I disagree with what Chris said about the design. Alongside the T-Rex, I think this is probably my favourite design I've seen so far. The Mosasaurus, I absolutely love it.
I like it as a Mosasaurus. Like, if it was like as a Mosasaurus, I don't mind it. But I just think because it's already established, I really like the first Mosa.
I got used to seeing that design.
I like if I was looking at this in a documentary or something like that, I'd be like, that looks sick.
That's why I love it. I think that's why I love it, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what else I wouldn't mind? If the Mosa was attacking the boat and the Spinos were just maybe following behind it to kind of feed off the scraps or whatever, but that I could get behind.
That would work. I think that would work a lot better.
But it looks like they are actually like working together, so to speak, on this.
Especially when you've got the character saying in dialogue, they're helping the Mosasaur protect its territory and hunt and what have you. It's like,
so
really?
this one. Oh,
That's a good shot of that sail, isn't it?
None of what you just said is good.
I hate that. I hate it so much.
Territory, stalk, hunt.
None of what
Stalk. There we go. Yeah.
I hate that dialogue.
Yeah.
why?
I don't
Because
like it.
it's meant to be a scary, tense scene. If that is real life, if someone said that, you wouldn't have a quick, like, humorous remark to it. You'd be shitting yourself. You'd be like, oh, crap. You wouldn't say something like, it's too Jurassic World. It's something like Chris Pratt would say. You know, when the Giga put his head through the window, and then he's like, see, not so bad. It completely takes you out in the moment. It's like, and you wouldn't say that. You would literally be shitting yourself.
Yeah.
Plus, look at this guy doing gymnastics.
Less of the S words, though, please.
Sorry.
Matt.
Sorry. I often forget.
I know. I was right. No, to back that up, though, to back the dialogue up, it is consistent with what we've had throughout the Jurassic films, though, because in Jurassic Park 1, you've had moments where, where Ian was laying there and he's like, tell me to remind me to thank John for a lovely weekend after he was in pain. Then in Jurassic Park 2,
immediately there, like the T-Rex wasn't there, like within the immediate vicinity. Like we hear the roars, but we didn't know it was approaching yet. Like with that, the danger is literally right there, and there's 4 different dangers: the 3 Spinosaurs and the Mosasaur. It's too Hollywood.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't mind. It doesn't. It actually made me laugh when I listened.
That's the problem. It's not meant to. It's meant to, but it shouldn't do. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. I do get it, but it didn't affect me. It didn't necessarily affect me at the time. Late to the party, gents. Not sure if it's already discussed. Do you think that the island and experiments are Lockwood's doing from back in the day when Hammond had the factory floor in sauna? I mean, it's something we could discuss at the end, really, isn't it? Like, I mean, you could be bang on. It could be right. Like, I mean, whatever it is, it's got to make sense. It's got to link to the past somehow. Yeah. I think I think it was Aaron Bayer who was saying on that pod earlier with Brad that they were saying that I think that the unbelievable factor about this is Hammond in his little popping his bubbly in there I own an island off the coast of Costa Rica. That Hammond, I can't picture, I don't know, just having a random island somewhere in the Bahamas. Yeah. Like, to doing all this stuff and having anything to do with this. But that Hammond, I believe, is because think of the conversation he had with Ellie. Like, he was saying in that conversation, like, I want these creatures are something that I want to, I want people to feel and touch, not devoid of merit. And he had a dream. I don't see this part being part of that dream. I mean, it's possible because there is that little dark side of Hammond that you do sometimes see when he gets his own way. Yeah, but it's very few and far between. It's a small part of his personality. I just don't.
I'd prefer this to be Lockwood. I'd prefer it to be Lockwood, and after him and Hammond split, he went off and did his own little experiments on an island.
I think I agree. I think this fulfilling more Lockwood and
less Hammond,
because Hammond never had to know anything about this.
Because I just don't want it to tarnish the magic of that first film. He made a dinosaur at the end of the day. Like that's a big enough accomplishment.
Yeah, that would also explain away like the whole issue with like you could split that off as being like totally different. So Hammond doesn't know anything about this, which is why a lot of the dinosaurs are so different, because it's all been done by Lockwood, totally separate from Jurassic.
Yeah, but let's not forget that Hammond, he was worse in the books, but even in the films, he did not like criticism. He wanted everything to be flawless. And if he knew that other people knew that his first ever attempt at cloning was complete failures, like these animals are, that would go against his character, especially even in the film, because he wants everything to be perfect, flawless. He wouldn't want anyone to know about it. It would sort of tarnish his own character in his own mind. He'd be like, I don't want people thinking that I failed first time. He wants to be renowned as this person who created dinosaurs, the first ever person. He wouldn't want people to think, oh, but when he first attempted to do it, he failed and failed and failed until he finally got it right.
Look how annoyed he got over a sick Triceratops.
The weird,
exactly.
The weird thing about this is that, like, in the second movie, is like, thank God for Site B. Site B was a factory floor. So he made this whole spill about that was really where it all happened, and then and obviously Malcolm was then going like, so there's another island with dinosaurs on them, and like I can't believe there was 2 islands this whole time. So what was that? Just all for show? That was just a showroom. And I felt Sauna was sinister and dark enough.
Yeah.
Like, so this is just weird. This has to be something else. I can't believe this was Hammond as well. This has got to be something out of Hammond's hands or something he didn't know about.
This is why I'm kind of leaning towards the whole kind of it's rogue scientists. So they were employed by InGen, and then they've just kind of like factioned themselves off to do their own thing. So while it was funded by whether it be InGen, Biosyn, whoever, they've ended up just taking it into their own hands and doing.
That's a point. You got a lot of InGen branding and stuff, haven't you, like that? So
yeah.
But isn't this? I know all 6 films are part of this, obviously canon, because obviously he didn't want to retcon anything that's happened previously. David Koepp, or however you pronounce his surname, but I'm pretty sure he wants this film to tie in directly with the original 3. Now I'm thinking, and it's probably way off like pace. It's probably a long shot, but maybe this ties into the Lost World with maybe someone like Peter Ludlow when he gained control of InGen, and maybe he went on his own side thing and done something. Yeah. But obviously, because he didn't have the experience or sort of the knowledge that Hammond had his sort of side did, maybe that's what happened here. But maybe stuff was already going on before Ludlow took over anyway. Like I know it's a long shot, but there are possibilities from the earlier films that they could sort of bring in and make it make sense.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree with you on that, Matt. I really do.
I love the spoilers.
It's definitely something that's, I think, when we get a bit more context to what's going on the darker side of this film. Yeah, I think at the moment where we're guessing, we're guessing so much worry. We're hoping it's not. We're not because it's not obvious. We're hoping it's not something that we don't want. We could be relatively all happy with how it turns out, and it could be a good explanation.
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they do, and I just hope it doesn't get sort of left, and we just have to just accept it at face value. And that's what I don't want. Okay, Spinosaurus design. It's weird.
Yeah. Looks like a cross between Caprotuchus and Postosuchus.
Oh, I like it.
I don't necessarily dislike it. I kind of like the look of it, to be honest.
Yeah. I think because people were, as soon as we knew there was Spinosaurus in the film, people automatically assumed, and I did myself, that it was going to be. No, I didn't think it's going to be the JP3 Spino itself, but I think it's going to look exactly like it. Similar. Yeah. And because it isn't, people are literally crapping on this design. But no, the thing is, we're only seeing one up close. And like James said, one of them looks different. Like it's got different patterning. Like maybe it's a different variation. I think one of them is going to look probably a bit more like the JP3.
Well, actually, if you just stop that frame there where it's jumping out of the water, not that one, that looks closer to the JP3 Spino than the one on the side of the boat.
Yeah.
Well, James, if you go back to the shot where you see the 3 Spinos in the water, the one in the foreground, it actually looks like it has a longer neck and a slender snout. As opposed to that one that you see up close, where it's got a stubby neck.
I think that one that crawls up on the side of the ship is one of them with the vertical stripes.
Go back.
One of these one here.
No,
one of them. There's 2 of them like that, isn't there? Yeah. Because when you see it climb up, you kind of see it.
Yeah, that one there in the foreground.
This one.
Yeah, that looks like it's got a longer neck and a longer snout.
Yeah, so that looks like the.
I
I
mean,
don't think
the
it
one
was
that
that
jumps out of the water, there's a shot. I've seen a shot of the Spinosaurus where its teeth are actually out.
Yeah.
Like you say, Mark, that looks like a bit more like the rounded snout of the JP1 one. But
Mm.
when you look
Yeah.
at if you go back to that one a second, James, that you had there where it climbed up the boat, you can see that. I'm not sure which one that is in terms of the sail, whether that's one with the vertical or horizontal stripes, but
Yeah, it's hard to tell. That looks very like the baryonyx snacking at Franklin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to capture the image better. You can see it, but you can't. It's so thick, quick.
Mm.
You can't see it. It's annoying. I can't capture it quick enough on this.
Yeah.
But I swear there's a shot of the Spino.
See how the markings go up the sail on that one. So I think that is one of the ones with the vertical stripes there. You can see the black going up.
Yeah.
I like the
like
fact
say,
that it's got the big claw and the two smaller claws.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I wonder if there is any variation other than the stripes between them. That's a nice shot there.
That's
The
stunning.
Spino.
For the Mosa.
Yeah,
I
it's
love-
decent.
It's a lot smaller, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, the Dominion Mosa was massive. It was like blue whale sized.
Yeah.
Mm.
The only thing for me that lets that Mosa down is that it doesn't have the teeth at the top of the roof of the mouth like it did in Jurassic World.
Not that you
Does it
can
not? I
see.
thought it did.
No, oh, a lot less I completely missed them, but I don't think it does.
I didn't notice it. I wasn't looking out for it, to be honest. But
I won't say it does. Just I'll wait till you play it forward.
If you're gonna say that, at least give it a thumbs up on the way out.
Oh, bless.
I blame Mike.
Yeah.
Don't blame me for anything.
I really want to stop. I really want to stop that image so we can get a better. Because I think some of these teeth here stick out to the side. Because if you look on some of the Spinosauruses, they've got like their snout goes slim and then fatter, where the teeth go out at the end, don't they? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But these ones seem to be pretty straight. But I think I've seen it might. Do you know where it might be? It might be the CGI image of that render that's been floating around online. I can't.
Oh yeah.
Do you know the one I mean, Matt?
Yeah.
I know with the Spinos next to it, side to side, and they look like two different animals. But it's meant to be a render of the same one. Maybe that's just one of these Spinos. Maybe one of them's a bit more, I guess, accurate to the actual skull shape that it's meant to be.
Yeah.
That looks a little bit like the Baryonyx, doesn't it? That one.
Yeah.
The neck, how fatty that neck is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a thick neck.
So big, isn't it?
Mm.
But yeah, then we finish with the Jurassic World Rebirth logo. Still no rating though.
No.
What do we reckon?
It'll be PG.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be any higher than a 12,
No.
PG-13.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I'm not getting any vibe from it's no darker than the Dominion in terms of like nighttime shots or Jurassic World, is it really?
Yeah.
It's no violent. No, it's no more violent than Jurassic World, that's for sure.
No.
I think one thing we haven't got yet as well is a runtime.
No,
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it would probably be around about 2 hours, like most of the films are. But I mean, usually long before the other ones come out, we knew what the runtime was.
Yeah, we did. We knew the composer. We knew this one. They're keeping it very close, cars close to their chest on it, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very hush.
But yeah, that is the trailer breakdown. So I've got some points. So Steve didn't like the mutant. He hated it. He said he felt disappointed the fact that that was possibly going to be the main focus of this film, when there's so many dinosaurs and it just doesn't make sense to him as to why we've even got one. Like, why can't we just have a mutant dinosaur? Why something that doesn't remotely even look like a dinosaur?
Yeah.
It's and to be fair, I felt the same. I think when I saw it, I think the film will do a good job of, while it's there, justifying it being there. I just think it's going to be a rain cloud over a lot of people's. I love that film. I just wish it didn't have that mutant in it. It's going to be. And there might be other people that love it.
I think you just want to get it out of the system.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Jurassic World all over again, where the moment we found out we've got a hybrid, there's going to be people that love it and there's going to be people that hate it. And until you watch the final product, no one can give a definitive answer on why they actually like it or hate it. It's all speculation in their own little heads and head cannons about why there should or should not be Project Idea. I mean, like I said, I'm up for mutants and other genetic mishaps. I mean, don't forget, it's not an unheard of thing. We've had the comics that have had mutants in. We've had the live action scare attraction that had the Grebnzu in, that was like some eel-like monstrosity. I'm pretty sure there was the animated series was supposed to have the Doomsday Rex back in the 90s. So the concept of mutation genetics gone array isn't an unknown thing to the franchise. It's just never had the light of day to be seen by everybody. It's either been a localized thing or it's been a very specialized thing, but it's never been available to everybody.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Like, it's a tough call. Like, I think, do you know what they could have done in hindsight? I mean, it would have changed a few variables in how the stories have all gone since the first Jurassic World movie. But they could have included the Giga in the first Jurassic World movie as being the main antagonist, right? And the Rex versus Giga showdown on Main Street would have been great. The outcome being the same, even if you want to make the Giga being this new super predator, whatever, I don't care. The outcome being the same. The Giga then gets taken down, right? Then you don't need the Giga at all in Jurassic World Dominion. You still keep the DNA for the Giga's DNA is being used now. It's always been there, right? One of the first genetic experiments is the Indominus Rex. Now replace this mutant with the Indominus Rex on this island. I now then think that it fits perfectly as being an experiment too dangerous to put in a park. So they've just left it on the island, just letting
even
it do
the
it.
Indoraptor would work in that same scenario.
Absolutely. But I think the thing going for the Indoraptor being allowed to stay in the second movie is that it used its DNA. Now you could keep the DNA of the Indominus Rex already, because they've obviously designed it, and you could, they could say they've got a storage somewhere from it. That's why they've made there's something called it's almost like a foreshadow of what's the Indominus Rex? We're going to produce the Indoraptor from that, and that's what we get in that movie. I wonder if we're going to see the Indominus Rex in the next movie. We don't. We see the Giga. No, you Matt, your reaction. No. Yeah. But we then get a bit of exposition as to leading towards that. Then we wouldn't get the Locust plot line at all. We'd get more about Biosyn. Maybe Biosyn had something to do with this second. I don't know. We're getting way off tangent. But it was just...
James, right? Can I just say something, right? Everything that you've just said is exactly what I've been saying after I saw Dominion, and everyone's been saying to me, "Oh no, there's nothing wrong with the original trilogy. There's nothing wrong with it all." You've just echoed exactly the same as what I've done, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds so much better." It's like, fuck you.
Language. I'm going to mute Mike for swearing. No, it's one of those things. Like it's always a what if. Like it could have been done a completely different way.
Yeah.
But right. Let me go through some notes, some things that I've written down earlier. These are things that I hope will get context for the last 5 years built up in the exposition, building up to like before they leave to go on the island. I want to know why the pterosaurs haven't flown off. Like JP3, they were in a cage.
Yeah.
I want to know why they haven't flown away. The Dominion, the Quetzal had an AD thing system which kept it from going above the peaks of the mountains. The other thing I was going to say, this is very John Sayles sort of brought in hybridation type thing. The other thing what I was going to say is I think the designs of the dinosaurs, I thought if they're given that these are experiments gone wrong, I thought they would look a bit more Stan Winston in design rather than more Jurassic Worldy in design. Which is another thing I sort of wanted to sort of head on. But my last thing I was going to mention was I was going to say, remind you, Matt, of your mutant theory that you wanted to talk about before we go.
You'll have to remind me what that was.
Well, you said no, you didn't tell me it. You said I've got a theory about the mutant later, and do you want to know about it? And I said no.
Yeah, that's what I was on about with the Spinosaurus.
Oh, that was it.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You had me
covered
questioning stuff then. I was like, ain't that thick, surely? No, yeah, that's what I was because I actually maybe want me to tell you earlier or leave it for the stream, but yeah, that was my theory with the ending of the film.
Yeah,
I'm going to try and do a bit of a crap sandwich here. So I'm going to start with some positives. Positives are, I think the casting is going to be good.
Yes,
I think the acting's going to be decent too.
Yeah.
I think that it's beautifully shot. I definitely am getting. I'm loving the color tone of the footage.
Yeah.
I was worried that they were just like on-set camera shots that we were getting with that warm tone, but it does seem to be actually legit, and it is the right one. I like the idea of getting the 3 colossal dinosaurs DNA and how they go about doing it. I think the action scenes are going to be great. I don't like the mutant, and we've obviously covered this, and I think we're all in agreement that we don't like the mutant idea.
I'd say we're about 50-50 on it. Because I like the idea of it. I just don't know if I'm going to like the design of it. That's different.
I don't like the idea or the design.
yes, thing.
Well, from what we've seen, you know what I mean? When it comes on camera, we might be all like, oh, you know, actually, it's not as bad as what we thought.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. At the moment, we can speculate on it, but we do
70-30 for me in favour of it not. I wished it wasn't in it, but I just hope it doesn't end up taking over the film and then that being the thing that everyone's just going to remember the mutant, aren't they? I know already, but I'm hoping it's not the main part.
Do you know one thing I do hope they kind of explain a little bit? They don't have to go into a massive amount of detail, but why it's these 3 dinosaurs that we need? Why does it have to be the 3 biggest dinosaurs? Why couldn't we take it from a compare?
Yeah.
I
mean,
honestly
have some isn't it?
I honestly think the whole we need these genes from these 3 dinosaurs for medical reasons is an absolute red herring. That's not the reason they're there at all. It's specifically to do something else on the island, probably something to do with the mutant, like we've already said. But yeah, the whole genetic thing is just oh, I need you to come along with me for reasons, and yeah, it sounds shady as anything, but it sounds more logical than I'm going to go over there for a rancor.
It's weird. I don't get why they've designed that like that. However, now it's there, and we have to just accept this thing.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping now that it's just really good in the story, and like the backstory of it's good, like what it's made of makes sense as to why it looks how it does. What I want to know, why they even thought about making it, like what was the point of it, and if I'm going to care about it at all.
But it was meant to be a dinosaur. That's the thing. It was meant to be a normal dinosaur, but because they were so inexperienced in what they were doing, it turned out like that. That's the thing. It wasn't meant to be anything like that. It was just some species that just went wrong.
Okay, but why did they not terminate it? Like, at what point?
That's what I think the flashback scenes is going to explain. Like,
At what point does it grow to a point where you think, yeah, that ain't a dinosaur? Like,
maybe
why
they
are they
tried to exterminate it, and maybe it killed all sorts of people, and they thought it's too dangerous to try and take this thing out. We just need to get up and leave this island ASAP, and maybe that's what.
I'm trying to think from a critic's standpoint. I just think they're just going to tear that one a new one, unless it gets explained.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
They're going to actually just tear a new one.
If they
do, if you just do what Luke Skywalker did, throw a rock at a doorway and it's dead.
if it is teared a new one by critics, right? Universal only have themselves to blame, because after Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, the two hybrids, they knew by the end of Fallen Kingdom that a lot of fans in the franchise sort of like, all right, we've seen a hybrid once, we didn't really need it a second time, we've got it a second time, we're bored of it now. That's why Dominion moved away from hybrids and didn't include them all together. So Universal,
of where they actually mentioned it in the movie.
Exactly. They need to take the positives and the negatives from fans' reactions and views from the films and say, okay, this is what fans did enjoy about the Royal films. Let's harness in on that and see what we can do with that to make it better. And the same with the negatives. Hone in on the negatives. Say, okay, fans really did not take to this idea. We stay clear of that going forward. But if Universal clearly don't care. But what they need to understand, that they're making these movies for us. We're the people that's going to spend the money to go and watch it. We're the fans of this franchise. They need to understand that they're making these films for us, not for themselves. Some person at Universal might think, oh, if this is going to be a cool idea, let's do it. But if you look at the reception from the previous films, a lot of the stuff that we're moaning about, they've still doubled down on.
Yeah.
That's like, if they did a survey before they'd done this film and they were saying, right, we're going to include, or we think about including a mutant dinosaur, what would your take be on it? I can guarantee you now, more than 3/4 of the people they spoke to would be like, no, we've seen it before. Hybrid's a bit different, but we've seen it before. We don't need to go down that road again. But they don't care because kids would love this, because it'd make like a great toy. Kids would like, good, look how cool that looks. That's the selling point. And it's fans like us that like, we're an afterthought now. Sadly.
Yeah,
Roger.
no, the OG fans are definitely an afterthought. It's all about getting new audiences, bums on seats. How many hybrid toys can we sell over how many revisions, recolorations of a T-Rex can we sell?
Do you know what's weird?
Down to.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what's weird about this is I actually could picture this as a Camp Cretaceous or a Chaos Theory storyline.
Yeah.
And I think it would fit perfectly in that world.
Yeah.
Roger says, you're forgetting Henry Wu's conversation. They didn't know what they were getting until the eggs were hatched. So this is like a hunchback dinosaur.
Yeah.
But it's carnivorous. Like, I mean, what could they possibly thought they had before they realised it wasn't what they thought they had, if you know what I mean?
Maybe they were just like employing idiots in these places. It's like, oh, look, it's a thing, but we don't know what it is. No, we'll just hang around until something happens.
It clearly has T-Rex in it because it has two arms.
Yeah.
Two-fingered arms. So it clearly has T-Rex. So they thought they had a T-Rex. But I'm hoping that they explain it in the film that maybe some other DNA got into the sequencing and it wasn't meant to. And that's what's created this concoction of a mix-up of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because if they thought that was just one species of dinosaur, and obviously it failed, like the experiment failed, that doesn't look like any species of dinosaur ever. So,
yeah, no, absolutely not.
I don't know. As long as it's explained and it's done in a plausible way, I'll accept it. Whether I like it or not, I'll just accept it.
Yeah.
No, I think I agree. I think that's how we kind of need to sort of take this animal now.
Yeah.
It's here to stay anyway, isn't it? So might as well get used to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, they could try and pull a Sonic out of the hat and be like, "All right, this is what you're going to get, fans." Uproar, and then suddenly it's like, "Oh, sugar!" That no one likes.
Well, we got till July, haven't we?
Redesign the whole thing.
You know what?
That's what I mean by learning from the past. Like you learn from the hybrids. A lot of people lost interest in the hybrids after Fallen Kingdom, and they knew that. That's why Dominion didn't include any. Like learn from the mistakes.
But how realistic is that of them to do that though, and make two versions of the same scene but with a different CGI footage in it?
Well, I've got insider knowledge on the whole Sonic fiasco anyway, that when that trailer drops, that was a whole team of people that worked on that. When they decided to go back and redo the whole thing, that was one person that went in, remodeled, reanimated, and re-edited the entire trailer just to get the second version out. So, yeah, unless someone at Universal's like, yeah, we need this guy to redo all these shots and complicated scenes and what have you. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That Sonic thing, it's funny how the power of the community actually made
God, absolutely.
So absolute jokes. I always never forget that. Right, any final thoughts before we go? Like how, as much as the mutant thing has put a bit of a dampener on it, are you still excited to see this movie and how it plays out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course we are. We're always going to be excited for it because it's got everything else we want in a movie. But is that mutant going to probably annoy me when it comes on screen? Probably. Is it going to be probably the most of the third act? Yeah, but I will still enjoy it.
I mean, I think I'll enjoy the scenes more when if that scene does play out and the Spinosaurus does come and like we get to see the Spino or Spinos wipe it out, because it does seem quite a formidable animal, especially in the scale of the bigger version of it. I think it's going to need a few animals to try and take it out.
See, based on the trailer, what do you think your favourite scene will be? If obviously we've only seen the bits in the trailer, but
River Raft for me.
Yeah, that's me as well. The T-Rex scene with the river.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good question. I'm very intrigued by the Quetzal area with the temple.
I thought you was going to say that.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. So one, I want to know how to get up there for a start, and I think that journey up there is not going to be as easy as it seems.
No.
And I think it's going to be quite fun to watch, especially if there is, someone does get carried off, or I don't know, it might not be anything like that.
Yeah,
but I think.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say I'm really looking forward to the scene where they tranquilize the mutant and take it back to New York, where it then steals Scarlett Johansson, climbs the Empire State Building, and then they have to go around and fly and shoot it with bullets, and then they realize that it was Beauty that killed the beast the whole time.
Crazy.
I'm hoping we get some more dinosaurs, obviously, that haven't been shown in the trailer. Some nice surprises, and not even necessarily fan service, but just some nice like dinosaurs that they haven't shown in the trailer that are going to be a bit of a surprise when we do watch it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the scenes that doesn't have dinosaurs in it. Like honestly, just dialogue between the characters, because when there's a lot more of that than there is action, to me it just makes it a whole much better. Yeah. Like with Fallen Kingdom, it was action after action. Like you didn't really have time for the characters just to sit down and have like dialogue. You know what I mean? That me and James spoke about this loads of times in the past, where I just like it when it feels more grounded and real. Because not everything is going to be run and hide all the time. You're going to be able to breaks and take a breath and talk.
Absolutely.
Some of the best scenes in the Lost World didn't have dinosaurs in them.
Jurassic Park, the dinner scene, that is amazing. So
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's the same with Dominion as well. It's like
Yeah.
you didn't feel like you had a chance to catch your breath. If it wasn't a case of it's a new scene with a dinosaur almost every 5 minutes, you're running from point A to point B for a good like 10, 20 minutes of the movie, and then you're doing it again in the next scene. And it's
Dominion was
Yeah,
also pants, so
oh yeah, there's that as well. But what I mean is that there was no breathing room between any of the action scenes. It almost felt it was just like bang, 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 bang every scene. Nothing was left to air.
Yeah. When Owen and Kada got like when the plane crashed. Well, actually, probably after the motor scene, actually, it felt more like that. But at the beginning of the film, like, it's obviously when Eddie went to the farm, and then Eddie went to the dig site with Grant, and then when they went to Bison, they were talking to Malcolm, Malcolm doing his conference. All those scenes I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Once the action gets going, it didn't really let up, did it? So
No.
but we're all looking forward to this one anyway, aren't we?
Indeed we are.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Mic speak. There we go. Right, guys, we are going to finish there. I hope you guys enjoyed our trailer breakdown. We've had great fun dissecting this stuff, and we've probably learned a little bit more about it while watching things in slow motion. There's certainly things that I spotted while doing this that I didn't on the first sort of 4 or 5 viewings that I've watched it. Please leave a comment in the section below on what your thoughts are. If there's anything that we've spoke about that you agree with, disagree with, we want to hear the comments, because I do reply to all of them. And yeah, please give it a thumbs up if you haven't. And I guess only one thing left to say, gents. Find
a way.
Bye-bye.
you know, boys.
Bye.